What if I told you that the three wise men only made it to Bethlehem because of the Roman Empire? That's right. The story we know about the first Christmas wouldn't be the same without the Pax Romana and its trade routes. But what does the greatest empire in history have to do with a spiritual journey that changed the world? In your mind, the wise men might seem like mysterious and independent figures, guided solely by a divine star. But the truth is more complex. Without the infrastructure of the Roman Empire, their journey would have been nearly impossible. Paved roads, safe travel routes, and even the cultural influence of the empire shaped every step of their path to Bethlehem. This is a story that goes beyond faith and dives into historical reality. It's a fascinating blend of spirituality, politics, and culture. We're not just talking about kings and gold here. This is about a connection between the human and the divine, deeply shaped by the greatest geopolitical power of its time. Why would a military and commercial empire like Rome become an unlikely ally to a spiritual mission? What secrets lie within the routes and customs the wise men followed as they crossed deserts and cities, facing dangers to deliver their gifts to the child who would change history? In today's video, we'll take an in-depth look at how the Roman Empire directly influenced the journey of the three wise men. We'll uncover the exact routes they might have taken, the importance of the Pax Romana stability, and how cultural and trade exchanges shaped the setting of the first Christmas. You'll discover that this story is far bigger and more fascinating than you ever imagined. Get ready to dive into an investigation that intertwines history, faith, and imperial strategy. How did a spiritual journey find support in a world ruled by Rome? And what does that mean for how we understand Christmas today? If you believe stories like this need to be told, like the video now and subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss a single detail of the fascinating connections between the history of Rome and the moments that defined humanity. Let's spread knowledge and rediscover the roots of this epic narrative together. The Pax Romana, a period of unprecedented peace and stability across the Roman Empire, was a cornerstone of the Magi's journey to Bethlehem. Instituted under Augustus Caesar, this era ensured the safety of roads, cities, and trade routes throughout a vast and interconnected empire. It provided the structure that allowed people, goods, and even ideas to travel with a level of security previously unattainable. For the Magi, whose path required traversing deserts, mountains, and bustling Roman provinces, the Pax Romana turned a perilous spiritual quest into a feasible expedition. Roman infrastructure was unparalleled. The empire's legendary roads, paved with precision and maintained by skilled engineers, created an enduring network that stretched from the farthest reaches of Britain to the edges of the Middle East. These roads were not just pathways. They were arteries of an empire, lined with way stations, fortified rest stops, and local authorities enforcing law and order. Such infrastructure ensured that travelers like the Magi could navigate unfamiliar territories without falling prey to bandits or natural hazards. Without these routes, their divine mission would have faced insurmountable challenges. The Roman military played a crucial role in maintaining this stability. Their presence along major roads discouraged crime and ensured that commerce and movement continued unhindered. This paradoxical relationship, where the might of Rome's legions served to protect a spiritual pilgrimage, is one of history's striking ironies. A militaristic empire, built on conquest and power, inadvertently facilitated the spread of a story that would one day transcend its own influence. Yet, the stability of the Pax Romana was more than just physical. It established a shared culture and system of governance across disparate regions, creating an environment where information and traditions flowed freely. This interconnected world ensured that the Magi's journey was not isolated, but embedded in a broader network of human activity. Could such a grand endeavor, spiritual in nature, have succeeded without the pragmatic order of Rome? And if the roads and protections were essential, what role did the bustling trade routes play in shaping their path? The Magi's journey was not simply spiritual. It was intertwined with the thriving commercial networks of the Roman Empire. The ancient trade routes connecting the East and West, such as the famed Via Maris and Silk Road, became bridges for more than just goods. They carried cultures, ideas, and traditions, creating a tapestry of exchange that defined the ancient world. For the Magi, these pathways were likely their means of travel, guiding them through lands where Roman influence intertwined with local customs. Roman trade routes were vibrant arteries of commerce. Caravans laden with spices, silks, and precious metals moved steadily between the East and the Mediterranean. It is along these same routes that the Magi likely journeyed, their progress intertwined with the rhythm of traders and merchants. The gold they carried as a gift for the Christ child may well have come from Roman territories, its origins tied to the empire's vast reach and control over resources. The Magi's connection to these routes emphasizes their reliance on the practicalities of trade to fulfill their divine mission. Cities like Petra and Jerusalem were pivotal in this narrative. Petra, with its grand architecture and strategic location, served as a major hub for caravans moving between Arabia, the Levant, and the Mediterranean. Meanwhile, Jerusalem, under Roman governance, bridged the sacred and the mundane, functioning as a commercial and cultural crossroads. These urban centers were more than mere stopovers. They were meeting points of civilizations, where the Magi would have encountered merchants, scholars, and perhaps even Roman officials. Such encounters enriched the Magi's journey. The diverse people they met along the way likely influenced their understanding of the world and reinforced the significance of their quest. This cultural osmosis, fueled by the trade networks, was essential in shaping the narrative of their pilgrimage. If trade routes connected the Magi to Rome's resources, what deeper role did Rome's political influence play in shaping their path? And how did figures like King Herod, a Roman client king, complicate this intricate journey? Judea, under Roman dominion during the reign of King Herod, was a volatile political landscape where local autonomy existed under the shadow of imperial control. Herod, often called Herod the Great, epitomized this dynamic as a vassal king. Loyal to Rome, yet fiercely protective of his own authority, Herod was a figure of deep contradictions, an ambitious builder and a paranoid ruler, capable of both grand vision and ruthless decisions. For the Magi, their arrival in Jerusalem brought them directly into this politically charged environment. The Magi's meeting with Herod was no coincidence. It was a direct result of the Roman governance system that positioned Jerusalem as a vital administrative and cultural center. Herod, ever vigilant about potential threats to his reign, would not have ignored the arrival of foreign dignitaries speaking of a new king of the Jews. Their queries struck at the core of Herod's insecurities, forcing a tense interaction that underscored the collision between their spiritual quest and his political anxieties. The influence of Rome loomed over this exchange, as Herod's power was ultimately derived from his allegiance to the empire. Herod's cunning response to the Magi revealed his strategic mind. Feigning interest in their quest, he instructed them to return with news of the child's whereabouts. Yet behind this veneer of cooperation lay a darker motive: the elimination of any potential rival to his throne. The interplay between Herod's political ambitions and the Magi's divine mission illustrates the profound tension that existed in Judea, a region caught between the forces of Roman authority and the burgeoning spiritual narrative of the Nativity. This moment highlights a deeper irony. The infrastructure and governance that allowed the Magi to reach Jerusalem also empowered a ruler like Herod, whose paranoia and ambitions added layers of complexity to their journey. The collision of divine intent with political manipulation is emblematic of the broader relationship between the Roman Empire and the unfolding story of Christianity. Yet, as the Magi left Jerusalem under Herod's orders, one question remained: how would their path forward be shaped by this encounter? And what role would Roman structures continue to play in their journey to Bethlehem? The Magi's journey to Bethlehem is a testament to a moment when the earthly ambitions of Rome inadvertently served a spiritual purpose. Their path, shaped by Roman infrastructure and political systems, culminated in an event that transcended the material and the temporal. The Roman roads, trade networks, and governance that facilitated their travels became unwitting participants in a story that symbolized hope, peace, and renewal. It was a profound meeting of worlds, The pragmatic empire and the divine mission intertwined in a way that redefined the cultural and spiritual landscape of history. The gifts the Magi presented, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, were steeped in symbolism but also tied to the trade networks that flourished under Rome's control. These offerings represented the wealth of interconnected civilizations, a reminder that the birth of Christ occurred within a globalized world shaped by commerce and empire. Bethlehem, a small and seemingly insignificant village, became the center of a story that blended human history with divine intervention, thanks in part to the infrastructure and stability provided by Roman rule. Culturally, the Nativity set a precedent for how the Roman Empire would later interact with Christianity. Initially an empire of conquest, Rome would eventually become a vessel for spreading the message of Christ, transforming its roads, cities, and institutions into instruments of faith. The journey of the Magi can thus be seen as an early reflection of this greater transformation, a moment when the empire's pragmatism aligned with a spiritual narrative destined to reshape its identity. The paradox is striking. An empire defined by its might and control became a silent enabler of a story that championed humility and spiritual renewal. The Magi's journey, facilitated by Roman order, serves as a reminder of how the collision of the temporal and the eternal can produce something profoundly transformative. But how much of this connection was incidental, and how much was part of a larger divine plan? What does it mean for an empire to serve a purpose it could never have anticipated?